Runners at the front here, are you ready?
Yeah!
45 seconds there, so remember you're going to go down the hill, you're going to turn left, 2 laps for 10k, 1 lap for 5k, ACDCs at the ready. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, away you go!
Okay, camera, in camera. Okay, we should be filming my first official run of my journey to a sub 40 10k. Begins now. And we're off. Oh! I don't know if you can see that. 41:51. Oh. It's 8:27 in the morning, about to get in the car to go to Heaton Park. I'm so excited. Let's do this. I'm at the event now. I can't talk too long. They're playing a lot of very copyrighted music. I'm gonna go for a little jog now. It's about 20 minutes until the race begins. I'm nervous. I've got my Francis House shirt on and I'm number 389 with my race chip.
Right. Good luck everyone. Okay, spectators in Heaton Park, are we ready to cheer them on? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, away you go! Away you go!
And finally, the race begins. And as you can tell, it started off with this huge hill. I was not expecting this when I arrived to Heaton Park, but I knew what goes up must come down. I'm going to just stay slow, well, not slow, but keep my pace controlled, and I knew later on in the race I'd be able to come downhill and hopefully regain some time and some speed. Going into the race, I had a clear plan. Start controlled, start at around a 4:05 per kilometre pace, and then with each kilometre try and get faster and faster, and then for the final K just give it everything I've got and hope for the best. That means I am under 40 minutes when I cross the finish line. Now that I'm looking back and watching this footage, I don't think I was doing that too well. I don't know how I was going this fast up the hill. Maybe it was the adrenaline of the race. This guy in front of me, he was going really fast. I think he was part of the 5k race, because at this event there was a half marathon, a 5k and a 10k, but the 5ks and the 10ks were racing at the same time. It was just the 5k is 1 loop and the 10k is 2 loops. Half a kilometre in and my heart rate was starting to climb, my pace was slowing down. I'll be honest, I was not very confident at this point, and I realised I forgot on my Garmin I have a setting that once I hit 175 BPM I get a beep saying that I'm pushing myself too hard. So seeing that at the start of the race was not promising, and I probably should have turned it off beforehand, but actually later on in the end this became quite a useful tool just to tell me, okay Ollie, you're pushing yourself hard, it could be worth just pulling back and hopefully regaining some time later on once your heart rate has slowed down. Yeah, right now I'm in 180s in 2.5 minutes. I don't really want to be doing that. I don't want to sustain that for 40 minutes. After a few minutes and now some flatter ground, I started to get a more controlled heart rate. My pace was starting to even out. It was clear that the people in front of me were also fast. I could try and stick to them to pace myself. But at this point, I kept on telling myself, okay, don't push it too hard, Ollie. Save all of the juice that you've got. I didn't want to use up all my fuel. I'd been tapering well. I'd eaten so many carbs. And when this guy in front of me, who was running great, he was absolutely booking it, I didn't want to force myself to keep up with him, because I knew that would only tire me out. I'm going to quickly clarify as well, it's really cool that I can have my stats come up on the screen, but I will mention they're not going to be 100% perfect. My distance might be slightly off, my pace might take a bit of time to calibrate, but generally it gives you a good idea of what I was running.
Sorry.
I'll be honest, this first kilometre did not fill me with too much hope. I was expecting it to be about 7 seconds faster than it was. Obviously, the hill really threw a spanner in the works, but I was thinking of this thing in my head. There was this Olympian cyclist, and he said that before starting a race, just tell yourself to start so slow that it feels like you could go faster. This was definitely the case. As you can tell, I started to pick up the speed slightly. I knew if I played this right, I have the fitness, I'd prepared well. If all goes to plan, this should be doable. So that wasn't the most promising start, but I knew I could bring it back. Another hill, are you kidding me? When I was walking down from the car to the race, I saw this hill and I thought this was the start. I did not expect that I would have a massive hill to climb before going on to this one. So yeah, this was scary. Surprisingly, I was able to keep a fast pace as well as a relatively controlled heart rate. So I was in a good spot actually. I think it took me a bit of time to warm up. I didn't really get the best chance to prepare before the race. There wasn't much room for me to warm up. I tried to get a few strides in, but then, as with any race, you have to stand there for a bit, pretty much just cooling down before kicking into gear. Once I reached the top of the hill, however, my heart rate began to climb again, but I was 1.5 kilometers in. That doesn't sound like very much in a 10k, but I think I was just trying to convince myself that this is 2 park runs. I just need to do a sub 20 park run and then just do it again. It sounds hard, but I trained for this. I felt like I could do it. My pace was slowing, my heart rate was going up, but there was now some downhill. Finally, I was able to just let gravity do some of the work.
Thank you.
Brilliant job.
I want to say a quick thank you to anyone who helped out at the 5k, 10k or half marathon winter warmer run. The support was amazing. The event was just great. I actually had so much fun. Coming up to the 2nd kilometre now, my heart rate was more stable, my pace was more consistent, the ground was more flat. There was now a lot of distance between the person in front of me and the person behind me. It really felt like I was just racing on my own, but that's what I was telling myself. That 2nd kilometre was much closer to my original plan for it. I was back on track. I still had some time to catch up, but I was now in a lot better place than I was after the 1st K.
Thank you.
Well done, guys.
2.5 kilometres in, and I was really finding my groove now. There was now some nice downhill that I could work into. I thought this was a good opportunity for me to speed up, hopefully get back some of the seconds that I lost at the beginning of the race. The ground was a little slippy, but generally terrain was nice. There was little people around. I feel like here was a good place for me to just pick up the speed. Now my heart rate was very, very high here. However, I actually felt in control. My pace was good. I had some downhill. I was just coming up to 3 kilometers. I was getting more and more confident as the race was going on.
Oh, cheers.
Well done, mate. Keep going.
Holy sh**.
I apologise for my bad language there. The ground was very muddy and I almost slipped and fell over. Luckily, I didn't. As you could tell, that 3rd kilometre was my fastest one yet, 3:57. That was good. It was almost a bit too good, but it meant I'd rescued some seconds that I'd lost earlier.
Slow it down.
There's a quick example of me realising that I'm going way too fast, and 3 kilometres to be going at a 3:45 kilometre pace is a terrible idea. At this point in the race, I was starting to feel a lot more optimistic. My pace was good, my heart rate was in a nice position, there was lots of downhill, the ground was nice to run on, I felt good, I felt in it. The pasta and the garlic bread and all the carbs and chicken that I've eaten for the week before this were coming into play. My super shoes, my Alex Yeast super shoes I love so much, were doing me great. I was actually going a bit too fast. Luckily, I did recognise this, so I decided to slow it down a bit, especially because there was now another slight uphill. This course was so undulating, they really weren't lying when they put that in the course description. Annoyingly, similar to the Jersey Park run, this course has a weird loop, run around, turn around thingy that I really do not like. It doesn't help with your pacing. I understand that sometimes you need to get a nice even 5k or 10k route. It's just annoying, isn't it? .3:57 is of course the same time I got for my 3rd kilometre, so that was good. My splits were nice and consistent. Coming into view now is the end of the 5k course. There were some people in front of me who had been doing just the 5k race and they were really pushing it now. I was, of course, not doing this. A part of me was wondering, why on earth did I sign up to the race who has to do this loop twice? But, oh well, sub 40 10k, there's only one way to do it. There I am looking at it. It's teasing me. I don't like it. Another brutal aspect of this course is that it finishes on a hill. That's really, really mean, whoever decided that. I was thinking as soon as I was coming up this, oh god, this is not going to be fun to do a sprint finish. But unfortunately, it must be done, especially with my plan of taking it slower towards the start and then in that final kilometre, just giving it everything I've got.
You're our first 5k finisher. Thank you for joining us.
Hearing someone getting interviewed for finishing the 5k was a real kick in the teeth when I knew I had to do that all over again.
20. Thank you.
With that 5th kilometre being 4 minutes exactly, that meant the first 5k was done in 20 minutes and 10 seconds. So 11 seconds to scrape back. Not impossible, but definitely not going to be easy. Fortunately, I'd done the lap now, so I knew what was coming up. I had a better idea of when to push it, when to hold back, when to let gravity do the work. I was feeling confident, but I'll be completely honest, I was expecting to be around 40-ish minutes. 39 minutes seemed quite unachievable to me. This specific section of the course is just horrible. I knew that being at a 4:10 pace is okay. It's just about getting over this big hump, and then there'll be some more downhill that I can look forward to. I know I was going slow, but I didn't want my heart rate to get too high. I didn't want to burn myself out on this. I knew if I just did this right, eventually I can get those seconds back.
Oh.
Wow, running is so technical. I'm just looking at heart rate, I'm looking at pace, I'm looking at how far I am. It's not as simple as just go out and run and hope for the best. There was a real plan that I had going into it, and I don't think I'd be able to get anywhere near a sub 40 if I didn't have a Garmin on. Now that was not very promising. Of course, it was similar to my first kilometre, so I'm not surprised that it was that time, but considering I already had 11 seconds that I needed to shave off, now having an additional 11 seconds, God, getting a sub 40, I'm pretty sure at this point it was impossible. I'm rewatching this a few days after I actually did the run, and wow, I'm remembering this bit hurt. I did not enjoy that hill there, and luckily there was some downhill in front of me, but my pace had really come down, my heart rate was up, I was starting to really have to fight the pain. But I don't know if every other runner does this, but I just tell myself different sayings just to motivate me or something. A personal favourite of mine is that pain just is. I don't even know if that makes sense. I guess the general premise of it is that pain is going to be there. If you resist, then that is going to lead to suffering. Suffering is equal to pain times resistance. So if you just don't resist, you've only got pain to deal with. I feel like I'm really waffling here, but this is exactly what was going through my mind in this specific moment. But my pace was going up, my heart rate was looking a little better, so it's no surprise that I was trying to distract myself from this discomfort. "27 minutes into the 10k, and here I really felt like I was on my own. I was just running in the trees on this path. There was no one in front of me. The person in first place, they were miles off, so there was no way I was going to catch them. But at this point, I think I was actually second. Seventh kilometre, 4:01, not too bad, not quite as fast as I wanted, but considering there was that hill, I thought I did a pretty good job. I wish I could tell you a different story, but unfortunately, at this point in the race, my camera died. Oh, it is so frustrating. I haven't been able to capture the end, but what I can do is I can narrate what happened over some fun clips of Tom Cruise running really fast. Once I was deep into the 8th kilometre, I started to get a slight stitch. I knew that with a stitch, it's normally just improper breathing. I think I was trying to do the thing where you breathe out on every right step, but I was taking a lot of steps quite fast. I don't actually think I could breathe as fast as I needed to, but the pain wasn't too bad. I was able to keep a pretty good pace, and in the end, that 8th kilometre was 3 minutes and 59 seconds, so sub 4, that's good. Now being in the 9th kilometre, it was actually quite a comforting thought. I'd already done almost 90% of the run. If I can hold that sub 40 pace for 8k, surely I can hold it for another 2. In the end, the 9th kilometre was exactly 4 minutes. 1 kilometre to go, time to dig deep. To be perfectly honest, in this final kilometre, I thought there is absolutely no way that I'm getting the sub 40 today. I was thinking, oh well, it was a good first attempt, it was a fun race, but I'll get them next time. I think there was quite a big disparity between my Garmin and my race chip time. I don't know if it's a weird GPS, if I pressed my watch too late, but according to my Garmin, I was not on for a sub 40 whatsoever. But I didn't want to waste it. I still decided to pick up the speed as much as I can, and in that last 200 meters, I was able to give a really great sprint finish. However, as I was sprinting, I noticed the clock for the official time, and let's just say it was somewhat nice to look at.
I didn't just pause the camera. Annoyingly, it died at about 7.5k, I think it was. The race is finished. I think I did it.
I'm back home now. It is 20 to 1. I'm about to order a massive large pizza. I have my medal, my first ever running medal, so that's exciting. Got the Francis House shirt on, of course. I'm gonna probably sit down, look back on the run, talk about it a bit later, but now I'm back home. I'm still stinking and sweating, but I just want to get my first thoughts and reflections about the run. First off, really sorry that my camera died and I couldn't capture the last moments of it. I saw there was a photographer, voice break? I saw there was a photographer right by the end, and maybe I'll be able to get some cool photos. I'll see what I can do. I thought I'd just look at my times. So on my Garmin, it only says I ran 9.89 kilometers. I don't really know why it's such a big difference compared to the actual 10k chip time. So on my chip time, it was, let me double check this, 39:37. So I'm counting my 10k PB as 39 minutes and 37 seconds, which is amazing. That is nice and clear of the sub 40 goal. Hopefully it's not controversial and I can secure that as my 10k PB. The challenge and the series has been completed. I won't go too far into it, but my splits looked good. I started off slow, gradually got faster. I had some other slower laps in the middle because there was that massive hill, but towards the end there was more downhill. I was able to pick it up, got a great sprint finish. Now what's really cool is I actually placed second out of 152 people. The first guy ran an amazing time of 36:55. I don't think I was going to quite get that, but there were some other great runners. Thomas Saint, who got 40:41. He's someone who watches the videos. Hello Thomas, great run today. It was good to see you at the end of the race. Now I kind of want to set myself the goal of winning a race, but I don't really know. Yeah, I don't know if the winning a race goal is like an official one I can set. It might just be a side quest that I'll have, that one day I'd like to cross the finish line in first. At least for a park run, that would be really cool. But I think I've got a bit of a way to go before I can start winning park runs. It's currently Wednesday morning. It's been a few days since I did the 10k. On Sunday night, I put out a post asking what my audience would like me to do next. I was gonna wait about a week to see what the results were, but after a couple days, it is very, very clear what people want to see me do. Now, the options of the poll were a sub-hour 20 half marathon, a full marathon, where I'd probably aim for sub 3 hours, an endurance challenge, like an ultra marathon, or trying out a new sport, so a triathlon or non-running. I'm gonna be honest, I thought it was gonna be a bit more split. However, after 509 voters, 72% voted for the sub-hour 20 half marathon. I've ran one half marathon in my life. I did it on my 21st birthday. That took me about 2 hours and 10 minutes. I wasn't trying to go fast. I was just trying to see if I could run the distance. Now, I do believe right now, if I was to try a half marathon, I could go sub-hour 35, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I could do sub-hour 30, but as you can tell from this series being a lot shorter than the sub 25k, either I'm getting better at training or just the challenge that I gave myself wasn't big enough. I think I want a nice meaty target that'll take me a year or two to complete. I don't mind being able to work on other stuff, do different videos, and just have this sub-hour 20 half marathon series. I'll make a proper video when I officially start my challenge. I'm gonna take a break for a couple of weeks. Still training, but just not aiming towards that goal. How fast do you need to run a sub-hour 20 half marathon?
To run a sub 1 hour 20-minute half marathon, you need to maintain a very fast and consistent pace.
I gathered
Since
that.
a half marathon is 21.0975 kilometers, here are your target numbers. Pace per kilometer, 3. 47 minutes per kilometer or faster. To stay on track for exactly 1 hour 19 minutes and 59 seconds, these are the times you should see on your watch. 5 kilometers, 18:57. 10 kilometers, 37 to 54. 15 kilometers, 56 to 51. 20 kilometers, 1 hour 15 minutes and 48 seconds. Finish, 21.1 kilometers, 1 hour 19 minutes and 59 seconds. Comparing this to your recent run, to hit a sub 120 half marathon, you would need to run 10 seconds per kilometer faster than your best split in that session, and maintain it for more than double the distance.
I think I just shit my pants. As with the end of my sub 25k series, I think the most fitting way to end the sub 40 10k series is with a run. Without further ado,
let's take this easy, really easy. First, I need to thank everyone at Francis House Children's Hospice. Paddy, Karen and Rachel, who I met and have been chatting to since I've been in partnership with them, have all been so helpful in teaching me about the charity, helping with the Just Giving page, getting me a BBC Radio Manchester interview.
I decided to start a YouTube channel and document my journey.
That was awesome. Everyone's been great. It's been a pleasure and an honour to raise money, and as much as we did, we raised £1,056. That is amazing. Seeing donations come in from across the world just blows my mind. People are so generous. It restores my faith in humanity. I'm just so proud of this series, and I can't wait to start another series and continue to raise as much money as I can for this amazing local charity. I want to say thanks to everyone who follows me on Strava. The kudos, I really appreciate it. I've got some lovely comments since doing my 10k race. I read all of them. They're all so positive. Another thank you to the Fix events for putting on the winter warmer run. Everyone who was helping out did a great job. I'm sure if the event wasn't as good as it was, I wouldn't have been able to break my sub 40. Having thunderstruck and a motivational speech before I took off. A big thank you is needed to my friends, my family, my girlfriend. I feel like I'm running all the time, so I really appreciate it when people aren't annoyed when I say, okay, I've got to go, I need to go for a run. It must be annoying. I really appreciate the support. My mum and dad phoned me as soon as I finished the race to see how I did. Now, of course, thank you to you at home or on a bus, on a plane, wherever it is that you're watching this. There is absolutely no way in hell I would have been able to get a sub 20, let alone a sub 40, if I didn't have thousands of people watching me, giving me support, advice, the motivation to carry on, a purpose. Honestly, making these videos for the past year, and specifically this series for the past 2.5 months or whatever it's been, I just love it. It's my favorite way to use my time. I know if I didn't have people on the other side of the camera watching the videos, I wouldn't find the motivation to do it. There we go. The victory run is complete. I can now call it an end with my journey to a sub 40 10k.